Making the headlines tonight. His Majesty King Norodom Sihamoni will travel to Beijing tomorrow to attend the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics. The Ministry of Environment expresses concern over the decline in air quality across the country. Myanmar's military leader Min Aung Hlaing extended the state of emergency in the country for another 6 months, just one day before the one-year anniversary of the 2021 military coup. Olympic snowboarders praise the man-made snow slopes in Beijing. And a breeding center in China's Guangdong province is seeking names for a pair of 1-month-old tiger cubs born right before the start of the Year of the Tiger. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Darshana Gochan. His Majesty King Norodom Sihamoni will travel to Beijing tomorrow to attend the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics. The Cambodian king was invited by Chinese President Xi Jinping himself. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian said during a news conference in late January that China warmly welcomes the King of Cambodia to witness the historic event of Beijing becoming the first city to host both the Summer and Winter Olympics. The spokesman added that Cambodia is a good neighbor to China, has traditionally strongly supported the country in hosting the Winter Olympics, and the king himself is considered an old friend of the Chinese people. The Beijing Winter Olympics will begin on 4th February 2022. More than 30 heads of government will attend the opening ceremony, including Russian President Vladimir Putin, Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and the Crown Prince of the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The 16-day international sports event will end on 20th February 2022, with more than 3,000 athletes from more than 90 countries expected to take part. The Ministry of Environment has expressed concern over the decline in air quality in capitals and provinces across the country, which has increased the concentration of particle pollution in the air beyond the standard, which is a risk to people's health. EAC News reporter Robin Lim has more.
In a statement issued on Monday, the Ministry of Environment said that the source of the increase in PM10 and PM2.5 inert particles was due to the emissions from industrial plants, diesel-based vehicles, burning forests, grasslands and solid waste, and dust from construction sites. The ministry urges all capital and provincial administrations, as well as all departments of environment, to take action in response to the rising problem of air pollution by taking measures to prevent wildfires and control burning of solid waste in the open air, along with burning in landfills and production of dust from construction sites. All relevant stakeholders are further urged to keep streets and public areas clean and to educate people not to engage in the burning of garbage, grass, walls, and other agricultural waste. According to the air quality monitoring data from the Ministry of Environment, Phnom Penh has seen an increase in particle matter concentration every year, steadily increasing from 13.59 micrograms per cubic meter in 2017, 19.26 micrograms per cubic meter in 2018, and 21.12 micrograms per cubic meter in 2019. Although the concentration of inert particles is still below the national standard, the trend of increasing air pollution from year to year in the atmosphere is of high concern and requires much attention and immediate action, since air pollution negatively affects public health, the environment, and subsequently, economic development. Secretary of State and spokesman for the Ministry of Environment, Neth Pektra, said that as of Monday, 31st January, the overall air quality in Cambodia was still good despite the steady increase in inertia particle concentration. However, he raised concern about the rise of air pollution in some provinces, which pose a risk to public health and the environment. He said the impact of air pollution is huge because air pollution can spread far and wide and poses a serious health challenge that requires the close attention of all countries around the world. He added that the sources of air pollution are steadily increasing along with the rise in vehicle PM on the road, energy consumption in production processes, services and housing, and the development of infrastructure. The Secretary of State explained that inert particles are compounds of organic and inorganic particles floating in the air, of which the main component includes sulfate, nitrate, ammonia, and black carbon. Particles with a diameter of 2.5 micrograms or smaller are very dangerous to health because they can penetrate and stay deep in the lungs. There are a number of diseases that can be caused by long-term exposure to inert particles, especially to infants and children, such as respiratory diseases, arteriosclerosis, and problems with neurological development and brain functions. According to the World Health Organization, public air pollution kills an estimated 4.2 million people each year worldwide, with the West Pacific and Southeast Asia being the worst affected areas. The Ministry of Environment submitted the Clean Air Plan of Cambodia on 25th January 2022 in order to improve air quality and protect public health and the environment. This strategic document covers key aspects such as air quality status, major air pollution sources, regulations and measures to reduce emissions by sector, measures of emissions that pose health hazards to the national level, and measures to reduce pollution in order to improve air quality, protect public health, and the environment. Robin Lim, EAC News.
The Ministry of Commerce has stated that the price of fuel will continue to rise from the 1st to 15th February, with regular gasoline costs increasing to 4,500 real or $1.11 per liter, and diesel to 4,250 real, roughly $1 per liter. This is the third consecutive increase in fuel prices in Cambodia over the last 4 weeks, starting from 1st January 2022. The Ministry of Commerce said in a statement released on Tuesday that oil prices were rising due to fluctuations in international markets. The ministry stated that it does not set the selling price of fuel in Cambodia and only quotes the fluctuation of oil prices in the international market. According to data from the Ministry of Commerce, the price of regular gasoline on 1st January was 4,200 real per liter and diesel was at 3,800 real per liter. The Ministry of Commerce announced the increase of fuel prices in February 2022, the third time prices have increased since the start of the year. EAC News hit the streets to gather how citizens were reacting to this news and to understand how increased fuel prices impacts their livelihoods, especially those who rely on transportation.
Wan Saming, a trader selling fresh palm fruit in front of Turkok Primary School, said that the increase in the price of gasoline had affected her livelihood because she had to transport palm fruit from Kampong Speu province to sell in Phnom Penh every day, which require a lot of gasoline. She said that she now has to pay about 20,000 real per day for gasoline, compared to before she only paid 10,000 real per day.
Last year, we spent only 10,000 real per day, sometimes only 9,000 real. But this year, we spent more than 20,000 real per day. I refuel gasoline 2 times a day, 3 liters at a time, 1 time 10,000 real, so 2 times 20,000 real. There are consequences because I am making a living every day, relying on gasoline. I have to refuel every morning. My gasoline expenditure is higher than my food expenditure. In general, my spending on gasoline is more than on drinking water.
Motorcyclist Matt Seri said that after the price of gasoline went up, it affected his income because he had to spend more on fuel while his income is still low. He said that in one day, he spends around 17,000 to 18,000 real, when before he only spent 11,000 to 12,000 real.
It affects revenue because our income is less and now the price of gasoline is going up. We have less income because we spend more on gasoline.
A taxi driver, Mr. Sidet, said that the increase in gas prices is affecting his livelihood like everyone else. He said that in the past, he used to refuel his vehicle for $10 a day. Now he still chooses to refuel with gas worth $10 a day, but the amount of gas has reduced due to the increased price.
It's difficult because we run less and refuel more. It has affected me. I pay around $10 for gas, taxi. In the past, it was the same, but we rode for a long time and managed to earn a lot of money. But now, the same amount of money we spend on gas doesn't give us as much as before, and we do not make as much money. It is not very profitable. My gasoline costs are too high because I do not park in one place. I ride to other places, so it costs a lot just in one day. I drive a taxi just to get money for gas and just to make a little profit from customers.
A tuk-tuk driver in front of Turkok School, Dut Kim Thon, said that rising fuel costs are a global problem, but since his business is small, he has not personally faced many issues.
It
has an effect. What if it's a global problem? It's not only us,
We only have to follow the procedure in this way. What can we do if it is like that? I have a small business, so it only affects me a little. But for taxi drivers, it can affect a lot because they drive a lot. The Ministry of Commerce has announced that the price of fuel will continue to rise from the 1st to the 15th of February.
The Ministry of Commerce has announced that the price of fuel will continue to rise from 1st to 15th February, with the price of regular gasoline going up to 4,500 riel or $1.11 per liter and diesel going up to 4,250 riel, about $1 per liter. This is the third consecutive increase in oil prices in Cambodia since the beginning of 2022.
The Football Federation of Cambodia will start selling tickets for the ASEAN Football Federation Under-23 Championships of 2022 on 10th February, a positive sign for the resumption of regional football matches after a hiatus of more than 1 year. EAC News reporter Chamrong Ritisit has more.
The ASEAN Under-23 Football Championship AFF U23 will be hosted by Cambodia and will run from 14 February until 26 February 2022. There will be 4 tiers of tickets for sale, with the lowest price starting at $2 up to the highest price of $7.5. The Football Federation of Cambodia has made an announcement saying that despite the reopenings of stadiums, they will only run at half capacity as a COVID-19 safety measure. 2 venues in Phnom Penh are selected for this competition, the Morodok National Stadium and the Prince Stadium. For the championship, Cambodia is in Group A with East Timor, the Philippines and Brunei. Group B features Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar and Laos, while Group C features Thailand, Vietnam and Singapore. Since November 2021, Cambodia has fully reopened in all areas, and sectors of a successful national vaccination campaign reached its target population of those aged 18 and over. Chamrong Ritisit, EAC News.
Authorities in Sihanoukville have arrested 6 Vietnamese suspects, including 1 woman, in connection with cases of kidnapping, detention, torture, extortion, and illegal possession of firearms. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
Sihanouk Provincial Commissioner Chun Nguyen has said that the 6 suspects were arrested at 10:30 p.m. on 30th of January 2022 after driving past a police checkpoint in Prinop district trying to escape. The police chased the suspects and were able to intercept them. During the inspection, the police found 2 gas guns, 11 pairs of handcuffs, 2 electric buttons, and 3 electric flashlights. After their arrest, the suspects confessed to kidnapping 3 Vietnamese women in Phnom Penh for more than $35,000 on 14th of January 2022 before fleeing to Sihanoukville. Authorities continue to investigate the case. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 48 new COVID-19 cases, including 8 that are imported. There have been 95 patient recoveries and once again, no new deaths. The kingdom recorded 40 new community and 8 new imported cases of the new variant. That means Cambodia has now recorded 997 cases of Omicron, 496 imported and 501 community cases. The kingdom's COVID-19 case tally has now climbed to 121,438. The death toll stands at 3,015. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 117,728, and the tally of imported cases has climbed to 20,353. Healthcare workers are currently treating a total of 727 patients. And now for a look at news-making international headlines this Wednesday, 2nd February.
Rescuers have pulled bodies out from under thick mud on Tuesday, February 1, after a landslide in Ecuador's capital, Quito, left at least 22 people dead, with 47 have reported injured so far. On Tuesday morning, rescuers have continued searching homes and streets covered by mud and removing bodies buried in the area. Torrential rains on Monday night, January 31st, has caused a build-up of water in a gorge near the working-class neighborhoods of La Gasca and La Comuna, sending mud and rocks down on residences and affecting electricity provision. A muddy river flowing through neighborhood streets, carrying with it trees, vehicles, dumpsters, and even electricity poles, as residents screamed for help. Authorities have not ruled out the possibility of further landslides. The mayor's office has set up shelters for affected families and has started clearing streets in the city. Ecuador is facing heavy rains in several areas, which have caused rivers to overflow and affected hundreds of homes and roads. Rains in Quito on Monday were equivalent to 75 liters per square meter, the highest figure in nearly 2 decades. More than 100 emergency workers have gone to the scene, cleaning debris using heavy machinery, and were searching for survivors. Emergency worker Christian Rivera has said he expected the death toll to rise. He has mentioned that there are still tons of mud. Missing people have been reported.
A missing Japanese F-15 frontline fighter is believed to have crashed and its 2 crew members remain unaccounted for, Japan has announced on Tuesday, February 1st. The Japan Air Self-Defense Force jet has disappeared from air traffic control radar on Monday, January 31st, shortly after takeoff around 5 kilometers from Komatsu Air Base on the Sea of Japan's coast, which has 2 tactical fighter squadrons, according to the Defense Ministry. Speaking to reporters, Defense Minister Nobuo Kishi has dismissed an early media report that one of the pilots has been found. Search and rescue helicopters and 3 Coast Guard ships have continued their search after earlier finding aircraft debris in the sea, the Japan Coast Guard said in a press release.
Plans to build Albania's biggest airport could destroy one of Europe's most spectacular sanctuaries for giant birds, where the noise of trucks and excavators is already scaring away pelicans and flamingos, ornithologists say. The picturesque Vjosanarta Lagoon in the shadow of Albania's Thunderbolt Mountains on the Adriatic Sea is a crucial stop for flocks of birds on their annual migration between Europe and Africa. It was declared a protected nesting and migration area in 2004 and is home to 200 bird species. The government says a new airport on the lagoon will boost tourism along Albania's pristine Adriatic coast and complies with environmental rules. The Tourism and Environment Minister, Mirella Kumbaro, has said, "We have respected every step, every timeline, and every procedure of the Albanian law, whether that is for the public consultations or how it will impact the environment." The main firm building the airport, Swiss-based Mabetex, did not respond to emails and phone messages seeking comment. Bird watchers describe this part of Albania as one of the best places in Europe to see flocks of giant pink flamingos take flight. An ornithologist from the group Birds of Albania, Mirjan Topi, has said the lagoon on any given day is home to around 1.5% of the entire global population of majestic Dalmatian pelicans, one of the world's largest flying birds, which are in danger of extinction. He also said that the safety of the aircraft would be a concern due to the danger of collisions with birds. According to the International Monetary Fund in 2019, before the COVID-19 pandemic, tourism accounted for 18% of Albania's economic output and generated 1 in every 10 jobs. But if the aim is to boost tourism, 28-year-old Arsen Lambro, who runs a fish restaurant near the lagoon, says it would be a mistake to destroy the local grandeur for an airport. He said, "What will the tourists find here? It is not only the food, but it is the area that will bring tourists." Myanmar's military ruler Min Aung Hlaing has extended a state of emergency for another 6 months on the basis of facilitating promised elections, state media has reported on Monday, 31st January, a day before the 1-year anniversary of the military coup.
Myanmar's military government would strive to hold new elections once the situation was peaceful and stable without giving a date. It was necessary to set the right track for the genuine, disciplined, multi-party democracy, Min Aung Hlaing has said in an interview where he has talked about the threat, internal and external saboteurs and terrorist attacks from destruction. Security forces cracked down in the dissent have killed at least 1,500 people and arrested 11,838 since the coup. According to the Assistance Association of Political Prisoners, an activist group has cited by the United Nations. The Southeast Asia country has been in chaos since the Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi and other figures from the National League for Democracy Party were rounded up in raids, accused by the junta of rigging the 2020 elections that the NLD won.
More than 30 heads of state are to join China's President Xi Jinping for the opening ceremony. Russia's Vladimir Putin is among the confirmed guests for the February 4th event, including the King of Cambodia, His Royal Highness King Norodom Sihamoni.
China's President Xi Jinping will also host banquets for visiting dignitaries, but the only bilateral meeting announced so far is with Russia's President Vladimir Putin. China's leader will officiate at the opening ceremony of the Beijing Winter Olympics on Friday and host diplomatic activities for visiting foreign dignitaries over the weekend. China's foreign ministry has confirmed Xi would hold welcome banquets from February 4 to 6 for dignitaries attending the Games opener, which will include more than 30 heads of state, government officials, royal families, and international organizations. The list of visiting dignitaries includes Russian President Vladimir Putin, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. The presidents of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Poland, Serbia, Singapore, Argentina, Ecuador, and Mongolia will also be in Beijing, along with UN Chief Antonio Guterres, UN General Assembly President Abdullah Shahid, and World Health Organization Head Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. Royals including Thailand's Princess Maha Chakri Sirindorn and Prince Albert II of Monaco are also among the attendees. The King of Cambodia, His Royal Highness King Norodom Sihamoni. The presence of these dignitaries comes despite a boycott by multiple Western nations, including the US, UK, and Canada, because of concerns about China's human rights record. Beijing denies any wrongdoing and has termed the allegations of rights violations a political virus used by the West to malign China.
A delegation of lawmakers from the European Union's parliament have visited the east of Ukraine on Monday, January 31st, in what they said was a show of solidarity in the face of the Russian military buildup at the border.
A cross-party group of 9 lawmakers led by the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, David McAllister, were spending 3 days on fact-finding missions meetings among others business people and politicians. McAllister has said during a short media briefing at the port that they were there to show solidarity with Ukraine and its citizens to the hours of uncertainty. He was joined by the chairman of the Defense Subcommittee, Natalie Louiseau, who has said that the combating information was one of the aims of the missions.
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
តើលោកអ្នកចិត្តរៀបអាពាហ៍ពិពាហ៍មែនទេហើយពិបាករកក្រុមហ៊ុនថតវីដេអូផ្សាយផ្ទាល់ដែលមានគុណភាពមែនទេអស់កង្វល់រ៉ាទីកាជាក្រុមហ៊ុនទទួលស្គាល់លំដាប់អន្តរជាតិលើសេវាកម្មថតផ្សាយផ្ទាល់គ្រប់កម្មវិធីកម្រិត 4K ដំបូងបង្អស់នៅកម្ពុជារ៉ាទីកាប្រើប្រាស់ឧបករណ៍ទំនើបម៉ាកល្បីធានាគុណភាពការផលិតតាមបច្ចេកវិទ្យាទាន់សម័យរ៉ាទីកានឹងជួយធ្វើឲ្យកម្មវិធីលោកអ្នកកាន់តែមានភាពអស្ចារ្យលោកអ្នកនឹងបានឃើញរាល់សកម្មភាពក្នុងពិធីទៅលើកញ្ចក់ទូរទស្សន៍ទំហំធំកម្រិត 4K និងការបញ្ចាំងលើផ្ទាំងក្រណាត់សព្រមទាំង LED ដែលមានរូបភាពច្បាស់ត្រជាក់ភ្នែកសូមអញ្ជើញកក់ពីឥឡូវនេះតាមរយៈលេខទូរស័ព្ទ012 823 848 017 838 889និង016 823 848 រ៉ាទីកាទំនុកចិត្តការទទួលខុសត្រូវនិងគុណភាពខ្ពស់
You about to see something. It's coming. We're unstoppable now. Ain't nothing gonna take us down. We're unstoppable now. Fade to black, take a bow, yeah. We're unstoppable now. Here it comes.
Snowboarders from Australia and New Zealand inspected the slopestyle venue in Zhangjiakou and on Tuesday, February 1st, praised the man-made snow slopes before the event kicks off on Friday, February 4th.
The snow is actually amazing, the man-made stuff. I think because of how cold it is, you have to be really aggressive how you ride, said Zhao Sadowski-Sainot, Kiwi gold medal hopeful in the slopestyle competition. The snow is super grippy here, said 23-year-old Australian snowboarder Matt Cox, who is set to make his Olympic debut. Usually, when you get to man-made snow and you rip into an edge, for instance, it slides out on you pretty easily, but with the cold temps, it's really dreamy snow. Beijing 2022 will be the first Winter Olympics to use almost 100% artificial snow, deploying more than 100 snow generators and 300 snow cannons, working flat out to cover the ski slopes. The Olympic snowboarding competition starts on Saturday, a day after the opening February 5, with the qualifying round for the women's slopestyle event. Beijing will mark the introduction of the mixed team snowboard cross, a frenetic sport with teams made up of 2 athletes, 1 woman and 1 man, who take turns on a course that features jumps and tight curves. A frenetic sport with teams made up of 2 athletes, 1 woman and 1 man, who take turns on a course that features jumps and tight curves.
FIFPro's Director of Global Policy and Strategic Relations for Women's Football, Sarah Gregorius, has said a low number of competitive women's football matches stops players from showing their ability and limits the development of the sport.
A report by Global Players Union, FIFPro, which monitored the workload among women players, showed that underload is one of the most pressing issues in the sport. The report found that even at the top level of the game, women players make a relatively low number of appearances each season. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to a further decrease, with players taking part in an average of 22 matches during the 2019 to 2020 and 2020 to 2021 seasons. FIFPro's Gregorius has highlighted that the players don't have the opportunity to develop properly, but the industry is also not going to develop properly because there isn't enough opportunity for players to go out there, leave it all on the pitch, and really showcase what they're capable of if they're just not given enough opportunities to do so. The scheduling of competitive opportunities is another major issue, which can contribute to some players experiencing overload. Gregorius believes short-term contracts make the problem worse. Players are actually going from contract to contract, season to season, so every game is an opportunity to obtain and retain a professional contract. That puts a lot of pressure on the players.
We have this phenomenon of really short-term contracts in women's football, right? It's not often that you see these multi-year deals. So players are actually going from contract to contract, season to season. So every game is an opportunity to obtain and retain a professional contract. So again, that puts a lot of pressure on them. And actually what we need to discuss more in detail is actually, are players therefore cutting corners on their physiological well-being because everything is so short-term? It's a smash and grab. So maybe I don't want to rest this week because then another player might come in and I lose that. I think one important thing that can be done to address some of the key issues we raise in the report, like underload, is just better conversations and collaboration around scheduling in particular, and an understanding of how competitions and different competition organizers can use the potential of what they can provide to the industry in the best possible way. So like regulating things around travel, if you are a competition organizer, you have an inherent interest in people being able to perform in your competition. So make sure that you regulate the travel conditions so that you leave no stone unturned in the way that they can represent and do well in your competition. So that's really important.
And now for a look at how the weather will be playing out tomorrow. And finally, a breeding center in South China's Guangdong province has launched an activity to solicitate names for a pair of 1-month-old tiger cubs on the eve of the Chinese Year of the Tiger. People can submit their suggestions on the China Media Group website, and the 2 most popular names will be announced on February 15th. The female twin cubs of endangered South China tigers were born on December 31st at the breeding research base in Guangdong's Shaoguan City. Keepers have reported that the cubs are now 3.65 kilograms each and are growing well in an incubator. A veterinarian at the breeding center, Lei Xingjia, says the cubs are scheduled to be vaccinated when they turn 1.5 months old. The twin cubs will also start to feed by meat, starting from meat paste to pieces of meat and then meat with bones, so that they will slowly get used to eating meat. The South China tiger is under first-class state protection in the country. The International Union for Conservation of Nature considers the animal critically endangered. At present, there are only about 200 South China tigers in China, all in captivity. Tuesday, 1st February, marked the beginning of the Year of the Tiger in the Chinese zodiac cycle. Many breeding centers across China are exhibiting the videos of cute tiger cubs. Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, you can check out our website eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram or at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.